Greetings, Rise Above family.
Hello. I ruined it.
No, you didn't ruin it. Your mic was just muted.
Oh.
So you might have guessed I've got the Empress here with me on this amazing new voiceover that we're doing for our vlogs. We've taken the decision to make some joint content, Rise Above and the HR department. And what better footage or content to use as the basis for this of all of the footage I've got of Southeast Asia. Now, you might have seen in one of the previous videos we're in Vang Vieng. We're just about to leave Vang Vieng when we've been doing things like karting and stuff like that. And we're actually heading on the Chinese speed train to Luang Prabang in the north of Laos. Now, for anyone that's ever travelled through Laos in the last 10 to 15 years like I have, this is like absolutely unprecedented. It used to take 4 hours to get from the border of Laos to Vang Vieng up the shittest road you can imagine. Now it takes 45 minutes in this super efficient Chinese speed train. You remember what it was like when you came, first of all. It was bad, wasn't it?
It was literally terrifying. I thought like I was going to die on the...
like in a minibus, right?
Tiny little minibus, but you're on like a dust road with like lorries, like
there's cement trucks going like about 100 miles an hour in every direction. Now you can get on this train and it's amazing.
But I will note progressively the trains got a lot like this was a false illusion to what trains.
You'll see in a minute when we get on the trains in Thailand. This is luxury travel.
Like I was ready after this train to book a next holiday just training everywhere. Like I was so impressed by trains, but it did crumble.
The journey is actually about 150 kilometers. This train cost only $10 and obviously I've speeded this bit up, but it really was super fast. What's also worth noting is when I first come to Laos, because this one terrible road through the country was dominated by cement trucks, everyone was also constantly covered in dust and sand and cement, and the whole place was like, it was so dirty and dusty, people would like water the road. But now, I mean, the Chinese have come in and spent all this money and everything is like brand new, super clean. All the Lao people have got brand new clothes. It's kind of a crazy transformation in what, like, say the last 5 years? Because you first went in 2018, didn't you?
I think I went before 2018.
Yeah, but look how clean everything is.
Oh, it never looked like this.
See, it's worth remembering that Laos is still, or at least when last time I checked, was in the bottom 5 poorest countries in the world. It's like the poorest country in Southeast Asia. But to see this Chinese money being spent, it does seem to have actually improved things for the people of Laos. So this huge train station outside of Luang Prabang, now we've got to go down here and try and get a taxi to get to Luang Prabang, which is this UNESCO heritage site. Now, my Laotian is not quite as good as my Thai. I know enough to get by. I certainly know enough how to get a taxi, and I certainly know enough to understand when someone's taking the piss out of me as well, which we'll see in just a minute. So we left Vang Vieng, we got on the Chinese high-speed bullet train, and we are now in Luang Prabang. I didn't want to get in a minibus full of Chinese people, so we got a private taxi, this guy here. Now you hear the guy saying Gin Kao. That means eating, it means like you want some food.
Gin Kao Leo.
I say Gin Kao Leo, and I say the word Pum Poi, which means fat. And like have baby Leo, that means have baby already. This is like joke slang over there. But then I heard someone say, yeah, Pum Poi Lai Lai. Like, yeah, he is very fat, cheeky bastard. Now, for anyone that finds that exchange a little bit weird, it's probably worth me mentioning that in Asia or Southeast Asia, Thailand and Laos especially, when someone asks you if you want food, saying you've got a baby already is a normal response to no, I don't want any. They have no concept of fat shaming in those countries. In fact, the culture...
It's happened to you like a few times.
More than once, but walking down the street and someone's asked how many months is my baby. This is very usual. And they've even said it to you before. really beautiful exchange, which I'm actually really glad that I captured on camera, with this old Laotian man and his son. That they got into this tuk-tuk after us, and I just said, hello, how are you? And this guy was like so impressed and made up that I knew how to say hello, how are you in Lao. You know, I knew a few more words than that as well, but he was really made up, and it was a really lovely exchange, which I'm, you know, like I say, I'm happy we managed to capture.
สบายดีสบายดีบ้างสบายดีโอ้อายุแค่เท่าที่เราโอ้ก็เอาเด็กเลยคนเราคนไทยมากๆไม่เป็นไรครับไม่เป็นไรไทยเราโอ้เราช่วยหลายเรางานไร Chinese train very fast, low. For 4 hours, 40 minutes. Very fast.
I feel like that was a real Alan Partridge moment where I was basically telling the old Laotian man how fast the Chinese super speed train is in broken English, and he's like, yeah, super good. He's probably never been on the speed train, he doesn't know. But yeah, it was a lovely exchange. And it's always nice to make an effort to speak the language of where you go. So we've landed in Luang Prabang. It's a UNESCO heritage site, and it's actually, this town is built on the peninsula between the confluence of the Nam Kang and the Mekong River. So right here we're on the riverbank.
We were staying, and this was our view. Literally, we were staying in a place that was on the opposite side of the road. So our view was out at this, and at night they light it up, and each one of these are like different boat restaurants that they go out, they catch the fish while you're on the boat, and they barbecue it or while you're on the boat, and it's a lovely evening.
Yes, that is a communist flag. The whole of Laos is still under control of the Communist Party. There is no voting there, but it's crazy. It's not a communist country anymore. When I first went, the communist flag was absolutely everywhere. Back in like 2010, there were only 2 drinks available, which was beer Lao or Pepsi. No Coca-Cola was allowed in the whole country because obviously Coca-Cola is capitalist. So there were Pepsi signs and communist signs absolutely everywhere. Now there's a whole range of there's a whole range of drinks, including Coca-Cola, but the communist flag still flies because it is still under the rule of the Chinese Communist Party, essentially.
So the streets are very French colonial. They're very like cobbledy, it's small. A lot of the shops are very boutique-y or antique-y.
Not cheap either compared to the rest of Southeast Asia.
No, I feel like Luang Prabang is where they say Thai or Laotian people go during Chinese Year on their holidays. So this is...
And the antique shops are next level in Luang Prabang.
Oh, they're insane. In this shop, I saw the best Kuan Yin statue that I have seen, and it's right here now.
I think you can see the look on your face in a second. Yeah, there it is. Al Gore Cam is sketching out a little bit there. Yeah, look at the Empress's face, and obviously this is like a real artifact from hundreds of years ago. They're not cheap. Some of the things in there were like a couple of €1,000.
Obviously, as you can tell, my husband was cheap, and
hey, I think in the next video when we touch down in Chiang Mai, when we finish sketching out about how much the flight to Chiang Mai costs, I was sketching out about it. I was the one that had to book the flight.
Cool.
So yes, this was Luang Prabang. We only spent an evening there because once we'd taken the speed train, which only cost $10, we then realised to get to where we needed to be in Thailand to complete the rest of the trip.
I mean, we did.
There were $300 flights, and the flight was only 1 hour. So
we did kind of just come back here for the nostalgia of the first time we ever went. It was on a New Year's Eve, and we thought it was going to be the worst New Year's Eve ever because it was so quiet and quaint.
But we actually found a really cool banging party, didn't we?
I found
Thanks to Jai.
Somebody got in a strop and stormed off, and I turned around, and just the first tuk-tuk that pulled up happened to know his friend in Laos.
Jai D, big up Jai D, the tuk-tuk driver.
First of all, he offered us heroin.
That's actually a true story. You said you want some heroin?
He was like, just want some heroin. I was like, no, thank you. Do you know anything that's going on? He was like, yeah, a big party.
Where was it? The place was called Utopia.
Oh, and it had like a false beach in it. It was behind a big dark purple velvet curtain. And when you were inside, it was so swanky and so cool. The owner obviously was London, which means very cool. And it was actually the best New Year's Eve we had. And it was so fun, wasn't it?
It was amazing. It was a party like to rival any in a European city. So big up to Luang, Prabang, Vang Vien and all the Laotian crew. Next stop, Chiang Mai. See you guys next episode. Rise above, HR department.